بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وبعد. Martial arts is something everyone is interested in today. Everybody is either learning some form of taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing. Everybody's trying to learn self-defense and martial arts. Especially the younger professional class, it's a habit. People are going to the gym. Sometimes you'll sit with people and the conversation would be, oh, how many plates can you bench? How many dumbbell curls can you do? So there's a lot of notion of, health, fitness, being in shape. And those who are more fit, those who are more strategic and strong, they have more clout and more space. That's why certain martial artists, people love them, follow them, listen to everything they have to say. So in our minds, we have an idea of who's very strong. So if I have a friend who has a black belt, I'm going to tell myself, you know what, this is not a person I want to mess with. If I get upset with him and he gets upset with me, I'm going to end up in a cast. I don't want to fight with this person. The same notions were present in the past as well. The Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum, among them, there were people who were very strong, shadid. Khalid ibn al-Walid, Umar ibn al-Khattab, they could take you and flip you and drop you to the ground even before you know it. Some Sahaba like Ali radiallahu anhu, he was able to pick up heavy things all by himself. So they used to pride themselves in the strength that they had. So what ended up happening was, at some point, people felt that true strength was in the form of muscle. True strength was in the form of combat. And that's true, that has its place. But Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he realized that just because you have muscle and just because you're strong doesn't mean you're actually strong. Because strength isn't only physical strength, there's also emotional strength as well. Because if I'm strong enough that I can pick up 100 pounds with one hand, then I think I'm strong. But the first time somebody says something to me and I flip and I get angry, and I start fighting with him and get physical, I'm not strong, I'm a coward. Somebody says something to me, I can't control my temper or my anger, and I fight back, that's not what you call strong, that's what you call a coward. And that's why in many martial arts, even they talk a lot that more important than fighting is discipline. More important than being physical is the mental battle. Forget about them. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he teaches us in a very beautiful hadith we're covering today, لَيْسَ الشَّدِيدُ بِالسُّرْعَةِ. That when you think of somebody who's strong, somebody who has fortitude, somebody who has strength, you'll immediately think of somebody who can pick sur'a, sari'. Sari' means a wrestler. A wrestler, he's very strong. لَيْسَ الشَّدِيدُ بِالسُّرْعَةِ. That's not strength. إِنَّمَا الشَّدِيدُ الَّذِي يَمْلِكُ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ. The strong person is that person who, when they get angry, they're able to control their anger. The person who, when they get frustrated, they don't lash out on everyone. This idea of anger management is such an important part of our sharia and part of our deen. In Arabic, the term is called al-kadhim lil-ghayz. Al-kadhimin al-ghayz. Allah mentions it in the Quran. It's a very fascinating term. In Arabic, kadhama means to swallow. Kadhama means to swallow. Ghayz means anger. So in Arabic, somebody who suppresses their anger is somebody who swallows their anger. Kadhim, I swallow it, I don't let it come out. It's narrated about Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala an, that he had a very short temper. He would get upset. But he was also someone who could control his anger when the truth was being said. One time, somebody was speaking to Umar ibn al-Khattab, and he started getting angry. He started getting upset. You can see the tempers rising, the tempers flaring. And as he was about to lash out, the person, he said, there's a verse of Quran over here. And immediately he stopped. He says, what you're saying, is there a verse of Quran? Then I'm going to zip my mouth and not say a single thing. Umar radiallahu anhu. So the idea of being able to control our emotions, and this is so important, that just like we have strength physically, we need to equally give attention to our emotional strength as well. Sometimes our ego gets the better of us. I'm speaking to my child, I'm speaking to my spouse, I'm speaking to a coworker, and they say something. And subhanAllah, this person says it to me, then I say, how dare you say it to me? So there are 3 steps that the ulama suggest that we do whenever there's a very difficult situation and you feel like you're getting angry. The first thing you need to do, we learned from the sunnah, is to diffuse the situation. And what does that mean? Somebody is arguing with me. Instead of fighting back, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, say, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim," because the source of your anger isn't an angel. The source of your anger is shaitan. Number 2, move physically from where you are. We're in the dinner table. My wife says something, I say something back, I start yelling, she responds, I'm cursing and yelling and screaming, and that's not how we're supposed to do it. Right at that moment, I say, A'udhu Billah, I stand up and I walk away. I calm down, cool down, and then I continue the conversation. Because at that moment, I will say things that I'm going to regret. Nobody who is angry will say something nice. It's just our nature. We don't think straight. When our emotions get the better of us, we start doing wild things. Ask people who are in prison, especially people who are in prison for reckless crimes. You know, a very, very serious thing in Texas, at least, is road rage. You're driving, somebody gets angry, they pull out a gun and they start shooting. Ask those people who get arrested, who spent their life in prison because of something like that, if you were to go back in life, what's the one thing that they would do? They would say, if I was just given another 3 seconds to calm myself before I did that. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us over here, لَيْسَ الشَّدِيدُ بِالسُّرْعَةِ. Don't think you're strong because you can pick up some dumbbells. Don't think you're strong because you can punch properly. That doesn't mean you're strong. Because if you know how to fight and you're strong, but the moment somebody says something and you flip, you're a coward, you're weak. Because if that person was stronger than you, do you think you would lash out? Yeah, mashallah, my subordinate, he's younger, he's smaller, he's weaker. I'm going to fight with him because I know I'm bigger than him. I know I can silence him. But somebody 3 times my size, 2 feet taller than me, looking down on me, I'm going to ask for forgiveness. I'm not even going to do eye contact. I'm just going to walk away. Why? Because I know that I can't do anything. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he reminds us, لَيْسَ الشَّدِيدُ بِالسُّرْعَةِ. Never think for a moment that just because you can flip people that you're shadid, you're strong. True strength is إِنَّمَا الشَّدِيدُ الَّذِي يَمْلِكُ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ. That the moment I get upset, I'm able to control my anger. So what are the 3 things I do? Number 1, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. The first thing I do is seek Allah's protection. The second thing that I do is I calm down. Nothing good happens from a tense situation. Think about the number of times you said something when you're angry and ask yourself, would you have said the same thing again if you were given another opportunity? I promise you 9 out of 10 times you would never say it. Number 3, and we learned this from the sunnah, ask for clarification. Almost in every scenario, whenever there is a heated argument, it's all based on a misunderstanding. One person says one thing, I understand something completely different, and I get upset. I come home, my wife says something, I hear something, I say, hey, what did you say? And then she gets upset that, why is he getting defensive? And she says, why are you talking like that? And I'm like, why are you raising your voice? And he's like, who do you think you are? You're coming in. And now the whole thing escalates. When it calms down, I'll ask, okay, let's get back to the bottom. Why did you ask me this? And she's like, no, I didn't say that. The moment you walked inside, I asked, do you want something to eat? But this whole scenario happened because of a misunderstanding. If there's a third thing we learn to diffuse a situation is, instead of just being reactionary, be proactive, figure out what happened, make sense of the scenario. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was one of the most calmest people. When anything would happen, he wouldn't just react, he would be very calm. He would assess the situation and then move forward. So in summary, physical strength is important. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tells us in another hadith, الْمُؤْمِنُ الْقَوِيُّ خَيْرٌ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِ الضَّعِيفِ. that a mu'min who is strong, he's better than a mu'min who is weak. That applies to iman, but it also applies to physical strength. So we need to be healthy, we need to be on top of our game, be very aware and conscious of our diet, that's for sure. But that's not the end all. That's not the be all. Rather, just like I have physical strength, I need emotional strength as well. And what is the sign of emotional strength? That whenever I get angry, I'm able to suppress and control my anger. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to inspire us with the ability to control our anger and not lash out every time and be argumentative all the time. And more importantly, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to be among those people that understand that true strength is not only physical strength, but also emotional strength. Subhanallah wa bihamdih, subhanakallahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk, jazakumullahu khairan, wassalamu alaikum.